Something different. This is what we're going to do. We're going to be doing a Journeyman electrician practice test. We got our 2020 NEC here. I've got a cracked screen on this phone, and the button to switch the camera is at the top of this phone. So I can switch the camera very quickly. And then because we're on YouTube, I get full HD. So we're not using StreamYard. So if you're wondering why we're not using StreamYard and my partner in crime is not here, that's why. All right, first one, where insulated power and lighting conductors are installed in raceways, an ampacity adjustment must be applied where? So we got our 4 options here. This is going to be in a test style. And the options are: 1, there are more than 3 current carrying conductors in the same raceway. That is absolutely true. What about the other one? We got 2, an ambient temperature other than 86 degrees Fahrenheit is encountered. For this, we're going to go to 310.16, and it should be B2 or 3A, because we're going to be in conductors for general wiring. And there we go. There's your adjustments there. Now, everyone calls these durations. The proper terminology here is adjustments and corrections. So you've got adjustments there. Christian Myers, what's going on? We're into a Journeyman's today, not the Masters. So this should be considerably easier. This is going to be for the more than 3 current carrying, and there's the adjustments there. You got to be careful with this, because this could be wrong wording on purpose. Because if we're only looking for adjustments, the answer would be this only, because we're in adjustments, more than 3. But I have a feeling that we're going to look at temperature too. So let's see what temperature says. Correction factors and general ampacities, other than those shown, shall be. And then it says here rooftops, sunlight, and it says nothing about 86 degrees Fahrenheit here. And if we look here, I don't see anything about 86 degrees Fahrenheit specifically. Oh, right there. Look at there. For ambient temperatures other than 30, 86 degrees Fahrenheit. Multiply. There it is there. I don't do these that often, so it's good to get a refresher here. It looks like the answer is going to be both. Now, okay, so we got it right. So it's going to explain it here. This is tests.com. Actually pretty good. I've used this before for my practice tests. And I like that it gives you the code references. Looks like we got this one right. So I don't have to explain it, because the answer is here. Now, I'm hearing a lot of noise outside. I want to make sure that no, the door's shut. It's just loud. Kids are loud. What's up, Sayer? Maybe one of these days, man, I will use the PDF that you guys sent me, and we will present it on StreamYard. But the fact that I can switch here so easily and it's in full clarity is huge. Dude, I love this keyboard, man. You can play Snake on this keyboard. You can push this button here. I thought you could push this button here. You hold this button. Yeah, illumination. Hang on. Illumination, profile settings, macros. Is it in settings? Display. I might need to get the update there. Good keyboard though. You can change the actuation on this. Jessica's, what's going on, Apache? Okay. Next question. Next. Looks like we get 40 free questions. That's pretty cool. According to the code, FMC, flexible metal conduit, enclosing circuit conductors is not approved for use as an equipment grounding conductor in lengths exceeding. So exceeding would be more than, we already know the answer is 6 feet. I want to show you guys where to find it. So if we go to 250, which is grounding, we want to go to grounding because it's asking about equipment grounds. So if we go here to 250, and I already know where the code reference is, it's 118. And it's going to be on the left side of my book here. Actually, it's right there. See right there. There's the answer right there. But most people are not total recall photographic like me. Like I already knew it was going to be right here in my book. But if we were looking for this for real, we could go to a couple of different places. So I'm going to show you how to find these answers. If we were to look up FMC, a lot of people would just instantly go to the 340s-ish. So you got PVC, you got LFMC, you got FMC right there. The question is, according to the code, flexible metal conduit enclosing circuit conductors is not approved for use as an equipment grounding conductor in lengths exceeding blank. Hey, are the kids loud, guys, behind me? Or in the chat? Let me know. Can you hear my kids? Because I'll put on my microphone. Yeah, it's definitely B. Let me know if you can hear the kids, and then we'll adjust accordingly. Okay. If we look here in FMC, we want to look about how it's considered as a ground. So we're going to go here to FMC, and we're going to see if we can find where it talks about being a ground. Now we've got the uses permitted here. We got the minimum sizes. I'm going to skim through here to see if I could find how you would find this. Here we go. Perfect. Look, we're in FMC. We found grounding and bonding. This is absolutely how you'd find this answer, a normal person. FMC here, right? We go over here to FMC. We look at the grounding and bonding, and we get our options of how it can be used as a ground. And we're going to see here, we got this code reference 250.118.5, which is where we went 2 seconds ago. So if we go 250.118.5, see, I could just skim through this and just tell you guys the answers, but we want to show you how to go about navigating the code. That's going to be the most value here. 250.118.5. And then you're going to see here, liquid tight to be considered as the same effective ground fault current path does not exceed 6 feet. Yes, there. Exactly. Let me see here. I'm wiping the lens so you guys can see better. Okay, so we know it's 6 feet. Boom, got the answer right. Next. Where a single 125 volt single phase 20 amp receptacle outlet located in an attached garage of a dwelling unit is provided for central vacuum assembly, the receptacle is required to have. Now, I already know what the answer is, but I'm going to show you guys where to find it. What about the ampacity? What about it? What about the ampacity? I would like to know the context of that. What about the ampacity? Charlton, when you get a second. That's the point that people don't get. They want electricians to know where to find in the code book, not have it memorized. Yeah. Oh, on the 6 foot rule. So the ampacity, if we were to go to paint here, the Ampacity is irrelevant when it comes to using a Raceway as a ground, because what it's saying is pretty much if we got our electrical box here and we have a breaker inside of our electrical box, we're not going to draw all the things, right? And we have a conduit that comes out of here, and the conduit is properly shouldered, and we're using all of our connectors, and we didn't exceed 6 feet here. This is the whole thing. So this is 5 feet of flex. 5 feet of flex here. And we go to whatever it's going to go to. If we had a fault on the equipment, the current has the ability to get onto the ground on the case, get onto this ground. And if there is no equipment ground wire, because it's not required to be per code, if you're less than if you don't exceed 6 feet. Oh, yes, 20 amps. Yeah, sorry. Hang on. I see what you're asking. Didn't ask that in the question, so I didn't bother reading it. It's 20 amps. Let me find it. Three or four things has to happen for you to be able to consider this a ground, right? You got to be less than 20 amps. You got to be less than 6 feet. You got to use listed connectors, and everything must be listed for grounding and bonding, and all that stuff. So, good point there, sir. Thank you. Listed fittings here, right? Can't exceed 20 amps, right there. We can't go above 1.25 inches, and you can't exceed 6 feet. And keep a note here that it says all of the following. So it's important to read the code about what's before we get to this point. I kind of jumped the gun on that one a little bit. But we got the question right there, 6 feet. But yeah, all the following conditions must be met. Been a while. I learned that in trade school, 1972. Thank you, sir, for slowing me down there. Okay, we had some guesses here. AFC is arc fault protection. So what arc fault does, arc fault is required inside, if we go 210.12, because that's where arc fault is. So we just know what arc fault is. If we go to the back of the book, I feel like if you're taking your journeyman's test, you should know already that 210.12 is arc fault and 210.8 is GFCI. But if we wanted to find it, we could go AR. Appliances, approval, addicts, RQRS, arc fault protection right there, 210.12. If we go to arc fault, we're going to see that it is required inside of everywhere except for a garage, a bathroom, an attic, and outside. So the answer is not going to be arc fault because we're in a garage, right? So we already know it's not going to be arc fault. But if we wanted to verify that, we could go here, 210.12 there, and then this is where it's required, right? Kitchens, family rooms, dining rooms, living rooms, parlors, libraries, dens, bedrooms, sunrooms, recreation rooms, closets, hallways, laundry areas, or similar rooms or areas shall be protected. So it doesn't mention bathrooms, garages, outside, or attics. Now, if we go 210.8, which is GFCI, and you can do the same thing. You can say, what the heck is GFCI? Go to the back of the book, go over here to GFCI 210.8, and we would see that they're required inside of garages. But let's find it. Here's required, and this is A through F. We go over here, A through F, and if we go through here, you're going to see it's required in garages and accessory buildings and things like that. So if you've got a receptacle for a vacuum, and it's in the garage right there, that'd be the key word, we're going to have GFCI protection. And we got it right. So we're going to go next. We're type NM, which would be Romex cable, is used in wiring. The method for home runs, for power and lighting, branch circuits in a dwelling. The minimum size copper required. Now, there's a couple of ways we can look this up. The way that I would look it up personally is that we know 15 amps is the minimum size breaker. Now this is the 2020 code. We got some pretty crazy things coming out in 23, which has 10 amp breakers coming out. But if we went to the basics of this is almost a gimme question. You guys hearing my kids? Everyone's like noisy in this house. Like, let me know, please, in the comments below. Can you hear everybody screaming in the background? I think they're like trying to make something in the kitchen and making a mess. 310 dot, one more page right there. No, we don't hear the maid killing your kids. You're all good. Okay, perfect. 14 here, type C. Why I say type C? 60 degree C right there. 140. TWUF is Romex. Let me see, where do we get that information from? How do we know? How do we know that's Romex? I'm having a hard time remembering. Let me see here. I think if we went to Romex, it would probably say to use the 60 degree C. The question is, where type NM cable is used as a wiring method for home runs, for power and lighting, branch circuits in a dwelling, the minimum size copper required is. Didn't know they had standards in the US. Savage. So we already know what the answer is here. Hang on, I might turn on one more light here. It's either going to give us more light or it's going to add shadows. Let's see what happens. It added more light. Amazing. Okay. So it's going to be 14 because 14 is minimum size copper required. The minimum is going to be 14 because that would be a 15 amp breaker. If we go here to number 14, wire, you get 15 amps there. The minimum is going to be 14. And it's lighting. So should be 14. Let's see if we get it right. We got it right. Perfect. I'm curious on where they say to find it. Okay, so 310.3. Let's see here. Where do we? Oh, look, this is where it tells you what cables to use. This is what I was asking about. So 310.3 would be here. Yeah, oh, look at that. That's kind of cool. So 310.3 conductors. Oh, right there. Look. 14 for copper. Right there. Minimum size of conductors. Perfect. All right, next. When single phase 125 volt, 15 or 20 amp receptacles are housed in a device box located outside. In a wet location, the receptacle shall have an enclosure that is listed as blank, whether or not the attachment plug cap is inserted. Now, we already know what the answer is. How are we going to find it is going to be device boxes, receptacles, things like that. I changed all our breakers to 50 amp. The wire size is just recommendation. So if we go to receptacles, which is 406. I'm going to go 406 receptacles. is receptacles. We're going to look for outdoors, right? Now, what this is talking about, this is what you call like an in-use cover, because the box is located outside in a wet location. The receptacle shall have an enclosure, whether or not the attachment plug cap is inserted. What that means is this. If we were to look at a flip cover, hang on, because you never know what you're going to find on the internet. Electrical. Okay. Perfect. This right here. This is not going to give you protection to your plug cap, whether or not the plug is inserted or not. This is only going to give you protection if the plug is not inserted. So this is a flip style cover, not allowed to be outside in direct sunlight, or weather. It's got to be weather resistant, right? This one here is going to be an extra duty bubble cover that is rain tight, whether or not the plug is inserted or not. You see the difference there? So these aren't allowed to be outside where they're subject to direct rain. Open to interpretation underneath of the eaves of your house or in the soffit, possibly if you're further enough under. Possible if you're deep in your porch area underneath the covering. But in general, this is what you're going to be using on the front porch of your house. Okay, so if we go here to receptacles, we're going to be looking for weather resistant here. I see weather resistant. We also want to find tamper resistant. Hang on. We're going to look in damp locations, wet locations. Let's see here. Here's wet locations. Let me go back to the question here. This one. Cool. Okay, wet location. Wet location. So, right here, wet location. It's going to say here that they got to be marked extra duty if we keep reading. It says here, whether or not the attachment plug is inserted, an outlet box installed for this purpose shall be listed, shall be identified as extra duty, and weatherproof protection. So extra duty should be the answer. Something funny about extra duty was that for the longest time, not every box was extra duty. There was a bunch of boxes that were bubble covers, but they did not freaking say extra duty on them. And we were just failing all these jobs left, right, and center because the boxes didn't say extra duty on it because of this one stupid code. It took about a year for them to get on board. But the same crappy quality, you could feel it in the covers. Some of them were really, really crappy. And as an inspector, you run across 17 different types of boxes. There's 17 different ways to open them, and they're all different. And that's just because they hate us, I guess. And it's always a pain. You never know how to open the damn thing. Some of them felt like they were just going to break. Wait, I left the paint drying channel for this. Nice. It's going to be extra duty. It's not extra duty. We failed. It's going to be weatherproof. So, damn. Let's see here. Where we see weatherproof? Providing weatherproof protection. Marked extra duty. So they got to be listed as weatherproof. Interesting. Shall be identified as extra duty, providing weatherproof. Shall be listed and shall be identified as extra duty. Listed. Enclosure that is weatherproof or not. I could see both ways on this one. Of course, it's weatherproof, but extra duty is also a requirement. That one kind of tricked me because that's a common inspector thing to call. So, yeah, weatherproof, obviously. Next. One family dwelling supplied by a single-phase 120 240-volt system and having 200 amp rated inverse time circuit breaker, which is just a breaker. For the main disconnecting means, what minimum size THWN aluminum conductors are permitted for use of ungrounded service entrance conductors. No adjustment factors are required. Okay. This one's got a lot of things going on. First off, ungrounded means the hot. It doesn't mean underground. Extra duty would be for areas where there's no eave over it. Yes. Yeah, I think you're right, Frank, there. We're going to, there's two ways to do this. We've got the 83% rule, or we've got a table. They took the table out, they put the table in, they took the table out, they put the table in. The table is in, I think. We could do 4-aught. Do you guys want to send it? We already know it's 4-aught. I'm going to show you guys where to find it. There's two ways to do it. We can look at this table here, and you're going to see for 200 amps there, the copper is 4-aught. The aluminum is 4-aught right there. That's going to be how you find it. But if you want to use how they get this table, because in the 14 code, they remove this table. So if we want to figure this out, there's an 83% rule. And there it is. There's 83%, which means if we multiply 200 by 83%, any conductor that is that value can be used. So if we took 200 by 83% over here, we would see that it's good for 180 in the 75 degree C. So if we were to do the calculator, 0.83 times 200 equals 166. Anything here that's above 166 can be used. You're going to see here that 155 is not 166. So therefore we go to 4-aught, and that's your answer. That's how you do that. Next. All right. Let's send it. 4-aught. Cool. And that's probably actually exactly what we explained there. Cool. Next. In a 3/4 deep single gang type FS box that houses a duplex receptacle, how many insulated size number 12 conductors are permitted to be enclosed? Oh my God. Okay. This one's going to be not so fun. We're going to go to 314, which is boxes. 314. And we're going to look for a couple of things. This is going to be our boxes here. This is an FS box. So we're going to go to metal boxes, which is an FS box. And we're going to see here, remember the receptacle is a double volume allowance. So we got to look at receptacles. So if we look at our allowances here, we're going to see that we're working with number 12, okay? Number 12. So we're going to go here to number 12. We're going to see that it's a 2.25 allowance. And we're going to need some scratch paper. Hang on. Oh, hang on. There. Okay. 2.25. Okay, so that's going to be our number 12. Now, the rules for this, we got to read the rules. We got conductors entering, we got conductors, we've got devices here. So what it's going to say about a device, it says the maximum number of conductors shall be calculated. We're looking for the double volume allowance requirement here, so give me a second. We got to find it. It might be back here. Box volume calculations, box fill, conductor fill, clamp fill, device. Here it is here. For each yoke, which is going to be pretty much a receptacle, a double volume allowance in accordance with the table, right? So we're going to multiply this by 2. And that's going to be for our receptacle. So that's already 450. 4.50. Okay? So far, we're at 450 because that's a point. Now, we got to figure out how many number 12s we can install. So we've got, it's going to be 1 3/4 inches deep. And we got to figure out how many more number 12s we can put in there. So 1 3/4 inch deep, FS box, 1 3/4 inch deep. We're going to see here that we can fit 6 right there, but we got to subtract 2 allowances. I would say it's 4. That's without clamps. That's without anything. This is a very educated guess in the effort of time. Hang on a second, because we got to let's look at this. FS single gang cover, 1 3/4 inches. This is a multiple cover gang. What is it? Single gang. Okay, I'm going with 4. We're going with 4. How many? If we know we can put 6 total, and this duplex receptacle is a double volume allowance, I'm hoping like heck this is 4 because we're live. Heck yeah, we got it. And there it is right there, reduced by 2. Perfect. Yeah, bond jumpers don't count. Next. The required 15 to 20 amp receptacle outlet for a peninsula countertop work surface in the kitchen of a dwelling must be located not further than, it's going to be 20 inches. Let me show you guys how to find it. We are going to go to countertops. Now there's one thing that you guys want to drill into your brain, and it's going to be where the countertop kind of looks like a triangle. It's drawn out like this, and it's a good quick find when you're flipping through this book to find the we're looking for 210.52, and you're going to see it at the top right of the page. I think there it is there. And now we know that we're in the right area. So what we're looking for, this is island and peninsula countertops, and we got to find the allowances. So island and peninsula countertops and work surfaces. This is peninsula countertop work surface in a kitchen, so we're in the right spot. This is it here. The required 15 or 20 amp receptacle outlet for a peninsula countertop or work surface in the kitchen of a dwelling must be located no further. So basically what it's asking is, if my countertop is here, how high can my receptacle be? If I've got an under cabinet receptacle mounted, how far away can my receptacle be from my countertop? So we're going to see here on or above the countertop work surface, on or above, but not more than 20 inches above the countertop work surface. So this is going to be, must be located not further than, this is the outer edge. Hang on. We're looking at something wrong. I'm looking at something wrong. The kitchen of a dwelling must be located not further than, okay, so peninsula countertop work surface from a dwelling unit must be located not further than, oh, okay. This is where we start our receptacle spacing. This is not the height like I thought it was. Let's see here. Island work surfaces, receptacle outlet location. That's 12 inches below. It should be 24. I'm trying to find it. It should be 24. Let's see if we can find it here. Countertops, receptacle outlets, wall space. This is wall space. We need countertop. There we go there. Work surface. Wall space, there it is. 24 inches measured horizontally from receptacle outlet in that space. Does it say horizontal? It does say outer edge though. Yeah, it could be, yeah, what Frank is saying, 24 from the edge and then 48 spacing. It could absolutely be that. I think that's what it is too. I think it's gonna be 24. Receptacles from the bottom of the countertop to the top would be 20. But in this case, outer edge is being used. So it should be 24. And it is. If we had a small counter space like this, and we wanted to break it down, I'm going to make the marks bolder. And we had, nice. This would be the countertop. This would be another countertop. We'll go ahead and install a sink in there. There's a sink. And this was the cooktop. This would be the cooktop. And then this is another countertop here. If this countertop here is 12 inches wide, let's draw the walls. Wall here. And wall here. Like this. And this is the backsplash. We would put a plug here. We put a plug within 24 inches of the sink on either side. When we break up the countertop, we got to measure 24 inches. So we'd need a receptacle over here within 24 inches of where this countertop got broken up. And then we'd do our 4-foot plug spacing, just like normal. Okay, next. All right, in compliance with the rules established by NEC, all... What's that, Mr. Not False? We missed one. The obvious answer was weatherproof, but I was going for the high-hanging fruit on that one. In compliance with the rules established by NEC, all 20-volt single-phase 15 and 20 amp branch circuits supplying outlet or devices in specific areas of rooms shall be provided with arc fault circuit interrupter protection where NM cable is used as a wiring method for home runs and dwelling. The maximum length of the cable for the first outlet shall not exceed. Now, this can be a trick question because you got to look at the size wire. 14 gauge and 12 gauge. Oh, it's got them both. Okay. So it should be, I think it's 50 and 70, but I'm going to show you where to find it. If we go to 210.12, like we did before, or yeah, 210.12, and we look here, it should be right there. There's 50 for 14 gauge, and there's 70 for 12 gauge. Don't ask me what the code reference is. It's a A4. There you go. Should you get your code book? I didn't send you a code book for nothing, buddy. 50 and 70. There it is there. Next question. All right. The code mandates a clearly labeled emergency disconnect is to be provided at each service or 1 or 2 family dwelling units. The emergency disconnect is permitted to be installed. It's an emergency disconnect. So, it's not supposed to be able to be inside. I already know that. If it's this, I would freaking blow my mind because I've been calling this wrong for a long time. It should be in a readily accessible location outdoors is what it should be. But it doesn't have to be in a readily accessible location. So it could be a trick question. Readily accessible means that you don't need a ladder. You don't need to reach over something. If you're reaching over something, it wouldn't have working clearance. So I'm thinking it's readily accessible location outdoors, because if we look at the definitions in 100, if you ever get stuck and you're like, what does that mean? We can go to definitions here. And we can see it's going to be accessible and then readily. So let's see here. We're looking accessible first, and then it's going to take us to readily. It's usually how I find it, because I gotta cite this all the time for GFCIs when they're installed in the wrong spot. Accessible there, and then readily right underneath of it. And what it says: capable of being reached quickly, renewal without requiring to take actions such as tools other than keys, climb over, remove obstacles, or resort to portable ladders, and so forth. This is open to interpretation, right? Ideally, this thing should be readily accessible, but there could be something leaning up against something in front of the disconnect that's removable, and it would be perfectly legal for them to install it if they left a wheelbarrow in front of it. Hang on 2 seconds. Okay, because you're being too loud. All right, so if they left a wheelbarrow in front of it, it would not be readily accessible. But I'm going to go with B. But it should be able to be anywhere technically, just not without working clearance. It could say anywhere outdoors without working clearance. We're going to go with B. And it's B. And you find it in 230.85. Paul W's requesting the whiteboard. We've been using the whiteboard. A general code rule is viewed from the front of a switchboard or panel board. The blank phase having a higher voltage to ground on a 3-phase 4-wire delta connected systems. If we look, sorry, I think we're zoomed in too much. There we go. If we look, leave the whiteboard alone. What's going on, Paul? We know it's B. It's 208 B. To find it, we could go into 110, which would be requirements for general installations. And we would go to, let me kind of just look around real quick. It's going to be one more back, one more forward. Here it is here, high leg marking. And what you're going to see on 4-wire delta, one of the phases. Doesn't say B on there. Unless it does. Higher phase shall be durably permanently marked. That's orange. Let me read this question again. General code rule is viewed from the front switchboard or panel board. Any phase is permitted to be the phase having higher voltage to ground. Ooh, that's a trick question. That's a good one. Check it out. Check it out. This is cool. It says here, of one phase winding, only the conductor or gross wire having the higher phase voltage to ground shall be durably permanently marked. It does not specifically say B in here. It says any. It doesn't say any either. It just says one phase winding. So we are going to go with any phase because depending on what city you're in, sometimes the meter, the C phase is marked and then they switch it to B. I think we just got to identify it. So we're going to go with D. We got it wrong. It's B. Where is it? 110.15. Where are we? 110.15. What the heck did we do? Does it say B on here, man? Am I just missing it? Midpoint, one phase, one is grounded. Only permanently marked by outer finish orange color. Such identification will be at each point in the system. 110.15. 408 and panel boards. Okay, so we should have went to panel boards. I thought it said it in the code book somewhere. Panel board there. We talked ourselves out of what was so obvious. Yeah, if we go to panel boards, it talks about it. I remember where I saw it now. It's 408, and it's going to be, where is it here? AC phase arrangement, highlight identification, and what it says here, caution, blank phase has blank volts to ground. I still don't see B, but it's here somewhere. I would like to find it, but I also want to keep moving. No matter what I pick something else. Yeah. All right. Which of the following single-phase receptacle outlets in a dwelling are required to have ground fault protection for personnel? Single-phase receptacle outlets in a dwelling. Well, we know that the clothes dry in the utility room. We know that this is actually a trick question because that's not a countertop receptacle. If this is within 6 feet of the sink, then yes. We might need to look that up for the waste disposer. And then located above a kitchen countertop. So because it's both of these for sure, it's going to be all of them. And when I saw waste, I was thinking trash compactor for some reason. But then when I saw a disposer, it's obvious that, yeah, it's all of them. I thought that was going to be for a waste compactor. Don't ask. It's D. Cool. Next. Where one or two family dwellings is supplies with single phase 120, 240 volt electrical system from the local utility company and the service demand load is not more than 400 amps. For the sizing ungrounded phase service entrance conductors, they shall be permitted to have an ampacity of not less than blank of the values shown. We already showed you this. It's 83%. The 83% rule applies to 400 amps and less. And if we don't exceed 400 and we are residential, one family, two family dwellings, we already know it's 83%. Where 4 or more current carrying conductors are installed in a common raceway, the ampacity of each current carrying conductor must be determined by applying the percentage values given in table blank. It should be B2A. Oh, it could be B3A, actually. We're going to go look it up. But what that would be, it would be 80%. So let's go look it up. It's C1. More than 3, yeah, 4 to 6 right there. It is going to be C1. B2A is, what is B2A? I'm curious. What is B2A? Why do I think it's B2A? B2 C1. Doesn't matter what I thought it was. We know it's C1 just because that's what that table is. Perfect. Next. Where an inverse time circuit breaker is used as disconnecting means for an air conditioner, the ampere rating of the circuit breaker shall not be less than blank of the AC nameplate. Rated load current on the branch circuit selection, whichever is greater. Because this is an air conditioner, motors get really complicated, but it's going to be a continuous load, which we can take at 125. I also feel like it could be 115. We're going to look this up. So what we're going to do, we're going to go to air conditioners, which will be 420, 410, 4.3. What is air conditioners? Air conditioners is 410. Tabs might be good. I think it's 410. No, 410 is luminaires. What is air conditioners? Oh man, going blank on where air conditioners is. That's not good. It's we'll just flip through. I'll just flip through real quick. What is appliances? 2 something, right? I'm going blank on what that is. Okay, so it's definitely up here somewhere. It's 420. I'm just gonna say 420. If you do the math, 125% is equal to 80% continuous load. Yeah. I feel like there's a 115 in here though, for some reason. That looks very familiar. I've done a lot of tests. I've got my ICCs. I've got, there it is there. It's 424. So it's 420. It is 420. $422 is appliances. Let's see here. We're not going to spend too much time on that one. Let's see here. Let's see if I can find it here, where I think it is. I feel like it's in the top right over here somewhere. Motors, water heaters. So that's fixed electric space heating. Man, that 115 looks really, really familiar, but 125 be 80%. Yeah, it's 420. Need to get the tabs for the chapters. No, tabs just rip my books, man. I'm in these books too much. Tabs do not make my books last. We're gonna go with oh, inverse time circuit breaker. We can go to 240 because that's overcurrent protection. Let's try that. Let's try that first. 240 overcurrent protection. And if we go here to If we go here to not there. What do you guys think it is? What do you guys think that answer is? Man, I really feel like it's 115, but I don't know why. We can also look at... We can look at branch circuits. We can go to 210. We can go to 210 real quick and let's see. Branch circuits. And we can look for... We can look for branch circuit feeder calculations. What's more loads? Small appliance loads, laundry appliance, electric clothes dryer. There's cooking. There's motors. There's fixed space heating. We're looking for we could try 430. I think I'm done with this question, I'll tell you that. We're gonna go with 115. Don't ask me why. We're going with 115. We got it right. Don't ask me how I knew that. I just knew it. It is what it is. 440, maybe that's how I know it. $440 12A. Wow, they were very loud tonight. Ampere rating. The ampere rating shall be at least 115% of the nameplate rated load current for branch circuit selection current, whichever is greater. Yeah, cool. Got it right. Next. What is the required size? 75 degree C copper service engine conductors for a 200 amp single phase commercial service where the elevated ambient temperature is not a concern. This is why the Journeyman questions are nice, because we don't have to do an additional crap. We already know the answer is going to be 3-aught. Let's look at why. If we go to 75 degrees C in the 310 area here, we're going to see 75 degrees C. And by the way, all your breakers, all your terminations are pretty much going to be 75 degrees C. There's only a couple of situations in my career that I've run into 9C lugs, and they were not on a breaker. They were directly off of a transformer, and they actually landed on a different piece of equipment that it landed on landing pads, not a breaker. So typically, right off your transformer, you're going to have overcurrent protection. And it did have overcurrent protection, but it wasn't direct overcurrent protection. It was on landing pads, and then the landing pads went to a breaker. So the wire did not actually land on the breaker. And in that case, they could use 90 degree C wire. Very, very rare. 3-aught here, 75 degrees C, 200 amps. That's how you find that. And yes, copper right there. 3-aught. Perfect. Next. In reference to the mechanical execution of electrical work shall be installed. The good workmanship is going to be probably, good workmanship has always been in the code. All of those would be nice. but we know that workmanship is something that you can call out. So they threw the word skillfully in there to throw you off, but it says with good workmanship. We can look in the execution of electrical work, which would be 110 requirements, general requirements here. And it'd probably be at the very beginning of this, requirements here. And we're going to see examination, approval, scope, wiring methods, integrity, not integrity of electricians, just integrity of the connections. We need a code for integrity of electricians. There we go right there. Installed in a neat workmanlike manner. Mechanical execution of work. And we've got here mechanical execution of electrical work. Almost verbatim. We got the good workmanship. They threw the skillfully in there to throw us off, but it didn't work. We got it wrong. Perfect. Electrical equipment shall be installed. Okay. It's going to be probably this one then. The authority having jurisdiction. That's going to be the thing. Let's see here. Man, we read that thing freaking verbatim too. I don't even care anymore. Let's see where they figure that out. Let's see where they get it. It's gonna be this one. It's not that one either. We suck. Oh, this is a good question. This is like one of those questions that you're sure you passed on the test, that you had no idea you didn't get it. 110.12. Let's see. Where is it? .10.12. That's where we were. It says here. Are they jacking with me? 110.12. Professional and skillful manner. 110.12 says neat and workmanlike manner. I don't know, guys. I think this one's wrong. I think this question's wrong. That's hilarious. Oh, in the 2023 book. Well, this is the 2020 test. Okay. It's trick questions like that you gotta look out for. Apparently, you're supposed to know what this code book says. Interesting. Okay. It is the 2023. This is a 2020 test, I thought. When did this turn into the 23 test? Has this always been the 2023 test? No. We're in the 2020. Why is it asking 23 questions all of a sudden? This is a 2020 test. I don't know. I don't want to click out of it because I don't want to lose my place. We're just going to keep going. But this should be a 2020 test, which is why we have our 2020 book. It doesn't matter. Ceiling spindle panel fans, way more than blank, shall be supported. Should be 70 pounds, but we're going to look it up. So if we go to ceiling paddle fans, we're going to go to 410, which is luminaires, which is lights. 410. We could also look in boxes too. We might actually need to look in boxes now I'm thinking about it. Because the outlet box there is going to be a, what do you call it? A hint or something, an important detail. Let's go to boxes. Maybe some boxes. We're going to go to 314. And we're going to look into ceiling suspended ceilings. Nope. Boxes. Hang on. Let's see here. Paddle fans. 70 pounds for outlet boxes. 35 pounds. That weigh more than 35 pounds. But okay, hang on. We got two things in there. We gotta read the question. It's asking for paddle fans that weigh more shall be supported independently from the outlet box. So let's see here. Paddle fans that weigh more than 35 pounds. Trick question again. Hang on. Paddle fans weighing more than 70 pounds. We're going to go get our 23 code book if it's going to ask 23 questions. I don't have articles. Yeah. We're in C. Shall not support ceiling fans that weigh more than 70 pounds. Sole support. It should be 70. Should be 70. Yeah, 70. Cool. 112.5 kVA transformer is installed in multifamily dwelling unit. The full load current rating in amperes of the secondary. So we're going to divide this by 240. So we're going to take 1 and you need a calculator here. So that's going to be 112.5 thousand. So 112.5 would be 500. So it'd be 112,500, right? 112,500. That's 12,500. We need 112. 112,500 divided by 240 equals 468. And then we got the 75 there. We're just gonna go with this. Perfect. We did it. Next. No grounded conductor shall be attached to any terminal or lead so as to blank the designated polarity. Now, grounded is going to be the neutral, first off. And then it says, shall be attached to any terminal or lead so as to blank the designated polarity. My guess would be change. Does sound like a master code question. This one's tricky. Grounded conductors. Probably 200.6 would be grounded. We're going to start here. 200.6 is always a good spot to start when you're looking at the neutral in general, because this is the identification of grounded conductors. So 200. And then we are looking for the connection, maybe. Installation. Flexible cords. General. Different systems, maybe. Device terminals. Did we see terminals? We did see terminals. That's, oh, maybe polarity. We could find, okay. Devices, identification. Device terminals. Screw shells. Polarity. Found it. No grounded conductor shall be attached to any terminal lead to reverse the designated polarity. We almost got that one wrong. And go with reversed. Perfect. Next. In compliance with the code, liquid tight flexible metal conduit, LFMC, enclosing power and lighting circuit conductors is not considered a blank when the LFMC exceeds. This is liquid tight flexible metallic conduit. We kind of already had this question to begin with. The same thing applies to flex. But we want to make sure. So we're going to go to 250.118 because we already know where to go. But if we didn't, we could go to LFMC, which would be 334 something. I always just start at 334 and then just start scrolling through until I find it. Here's FC. There is FCC. There's MC. MI. There's TC, USC, FMC, LFMC. Perfect. Now we need to find grounding. So we're going to find why we can use it as a ground, which would be grounding and bonding. And it's also going to say were installed as equipment grounding conductors shall be installed. Were installed or installed equipment grounding conductors shall be installed in accordance with 250.134 and 250.118. 118 and 134. So 250.118. And we're going to see here. This is liquid flexible metal conduit. No, listed. So that's not LFMC, that's just flexible metal conduit. Let's look at 34, 250.134, just to make sure. 134, equipment, cord, grounding. We're still going to go with 6 feet. We checked both sides of it, we're going to go with 6 feet. Perfect. All right, 3-phase, continuous duty, induction type motor. Continuous duty is going to be 125% typically. The table 430.250 is not used to determine. Oh man, let's see here. The required ampacity, the ampere ratings of switches, the branch circuit, short circuit, and ground fault protection devices. Well, that's obvious. And then overload protection. So if we look at the rules for this table, we're going to see that we don't use this table at all when looking at ground fault protection or short circuit fault current. But we do use this table when we're looking at the ampacity of the supply conductors. We do use this table when we're looking at the rating of switches, because your rating of your switch needs to be equivalent to the rating of the whole circuit. And then your overload protection, which is essentially what protects the motor. The test does keep changing. What the heck? That's great. That's great. Well, so far, we're doing pretty good. It's going to be this one. If we go to 430.250, we're going to get the FLCs. 430.250 is a very common table that I have not looked at in a long time. I am due for a motor class. It's been a minute. But if we look here, you're going to see the FLC, the full load current, right? So we know, based on this FLC, this is going to tell us everything about the motor. And it's going to tell us all this stuff except for the C. So this one here, we got it wrong. Perfect. Great. It's not used to determine the blank. Okay, I know why. Because overload protection is going to be somewhere else. Overload protection is up here specifically. Back 3 or 4 pages. Hang on. I'm not the best with motors. I'll be the first to tell you. But this is your overcurrent protection here. And your overload protection is here, right? Nope. Overload protections here, 430.37. And there's your ground fault protection. So this is why I was thinking that it was not this one, because 430.250 is a different table than ground fault protection. I don't know. This one's going to be not probably in line with the 2020. No, it is. I don't know. We're going to guess overload protection, which it could be anything at this point. I'm not the best with motors. Yep. So just like we talked about before, 430.50 shows the full load current. 430.6 indicates the FLA. And overload protection does not protect against short circuits or ground faults. Cool. I still don't know. Next. The code where you're required to make a connection between the equipment grounded conductor and the grounded neutral conductor. Okay, this is going to be a good one. Within the service disconnect enclosure at the termination of the grounding electrode conductor, within the meter enclosure, or B or C. Well, I don't think it's going to be in the meter enclosure. That's going to eliminate C and D. You're required to make the connection between the equipment grounding conductor and the grounded. This is your MBJ, your main bonding jumper. If we look at how to land that, the grounding electrode conductor has a lot of permissions to be landed elsewhere with a jumper. So it should be at the first means of disconnect. It should be the service disconnect enclosure is what it should be. But well, it says service, so it wouldn't be a transformer. I'm going to go with service disconnect enclosure. We got it. A hot tub is located in a common area of multifamily dwelling unit, clearly labeled emergency shut-off control switch. For the purpose of stopping the motors, the water recirculation jet system is not required to be installed for the users at a readily accessible location, if not less than blank from the hot tub. If we go to 680, which is essentially pools and bodies of water and fountains and all that stuff, we are going to jump through here and we're going to find hot tubs right there. And the shut-off switch is going to be right there. And it's going to say, shall be at a readily accessible to users not less than 5 feet away. So, not required to be installed for the users at a readily accessible location. So, clearly labeled shut-off provides power to the recirculation, shall be installed at a point to the users and not less than 5 feet away. Let's see if we can find another answer to that. Cord and plug permitted to be 15. I don't think it's 5 feet because the wording is weird. This wording says, it is required to be installed for the users at a readily accessible location. And this one says installed at a point readily accessible to the users. Oh, okay. Never mind. My bad. I was reading in more into that. We're good. The disconnected means for air conditioning on refrigeration equipment shall not be located. So this is going to be the disconnecting means for AC shall not be located. Shall not be located. So probably directly above the equipment, because you wouldn't have oh, this is master. It's jumping around, isn't it, guys? That's crazy. I didn't even notice that. Okay, that's okay. Because it's going to be... Well, that might be a trick question. On the panels, as they're designated to allow access to the equipment. Damn. That is obviously the answer. But directly above the equipment would not give you working clearance. I'm going to go with D. I'm going to go with D. We're going with D. We got it. But in general, right? If it is directly above the equipment, you're not going to have working clearance. But if you think too much into these questions, you're going to start confusing yourself. You just got to look at what the question asks and go with the most obvious question if it doesn't give you more than one answer. All right, the required support distance for exposed vertical rigid metal conduit risers from industrial machinery or fixed equipment where the RMC is made of threaded couplings. The conduit is supported and securely fastened at the top and bottom of the riser, and no other means is readily available. Jesus. Okay, it's a riser, so it's going from down here to up here, and it's probably it has supports every so often, right? So we're going to look for a vertical strap, not a horizontal strap. Exposed vertical, right? We're going to go to RMC, which is 334, whatever. I don't know. I always just go to 334. That's where I go. Around this area. And then we look for RMC. There's EMT. There's ENT. And I believe we went too far because we're into like the weird things. Once we get out of raceways, you know you went too far. There's PVC. RMC is usually first. It's like usually like the first. There it is there. 344. Okay. Now we're going to look for securely fastened, or we're going to look for supports. Now we know that supports is typically a .10 or a 34. Let me think. Probably a 30. Because 10 is use as permitted. And securing and supporting is here. And we are looking for... We're looking for vertical. So there's vertical risers at intervals 20 feet. I wouldn't have guessed it was 20 feet, guys. That's really far. 20 feet it is. We got it. Next. When installing an emergency backup generator with an output of 22 kW for a farmhouse, the ampacity of phase conductors from the generator terminals of the first overcurrent protective device shall not be less than blank of the nameplate current rating of the generator where the design of the generator does not prevent overloading. Oh my God. 22 kW would be 22,000. Let's try that. Let's divide 22,000 by 240 and see what we wind up with. 22,000, 240. We got 91.6. That looks like that could be the answer. There might be a different factor that we don't know about. Let's see. The first overcurrent protective device shall not be less than blank of the nameplate current rating of the generator. If we took 92 times something, what do we get? $115. Oh, I'm going to go with a continuous load of 92 amps. We're going to guess 115, guys. We got it wrong. It's 92 amps. We still got it wrong because we suck. The first overcurrent device should not be less than blank of the current rating of the generator. We probably need to go to generators in the code 450, I think. Something like that, 460. I was trying to keep it moving. He got lazy. 445. Let's see here. Disconnecting means. Terminal housings. Here it is here. Terminals. Then we got to go to motors. And then we can say, screw this question. It's going to be way too long. Yeah, it's probably 106. There we go. Oh, 115% of the current rating. Okay, it wasn't 125, it was 115. We did 1.25, we should have did 1.15. Why do we need 1.15? Let's see here. Section 445.13 specifies Ampacity conductors for the generator terminals to the first overcurrent protection 115. This is very interesting. Let's look at 445.13. Where did we go wrong here? This is actually worth highlighting in my own book. Okay. So we take, I took 1.25 for a continuous load. Generators are a little bit different, so it's 106. Nice. Freestanding type cord and plug connected office furnishings, which are the following not permitted. It's going to be something about a multi-wire, probably. Let's see. Multi-wire branch circuits use supply receptacle outlets and luminaires in the freestanding office, where the freestanding office furnishings contain 10 and 15 amp receptacles, a flexible power supply. There's extra hard usage. And the receptacle that supplies the freestanding office is located 12 inches from the thing. I'm going to say the multi-wire branch circuit. Let's see here. It's cord and plug. So it plugs in. I don't think you can cord and plug a multi-wire branch circuit. I've never seen a cord and plugged office furnishing that does that. I want to guess this one to save time. What do you guys think it is? This is why I never let 32 hours elapse. I took 2 AT tests in California. Had to hear keeps getting tougher every year. Yeah, don't ever let it lap. What I understand is when we talk about code and testing, there are so many people who are electricians, almost electricians, we're electricians, try to be an electrician, dating an electrician. And then you got a neighbor that's really, I'm going to go with multi-wire just because, I don't know, guys. Cool, we got it. So, wiring methods, office furnishings does not permit furnishings to contain multi-wire circuits with cord connected. That's exactly what I said, so we're good. Next. According to the code, flexible metal conduit enclosing circuit conductors is not approved for use as a type of equipment ground conductor in trade sizes larger. Now this is flexible metal conduit, flexible, right? We saw this earlier. I showed you in 250.118. We already know it's 1.25 inches. All right, what's the minimum size copper equipment grounding conductor required for 20 amp rated branch circuit installed in PVC? And it's to a swimming pool pump motor. This is a great question. This is a very good question. I like this question. Because this is very important, right? PVC already isn't considered a ground. And it goes to a swimming pool motor. So you want to be extra safe. Uh, the obvious answer would probably be based on if we looked in special, like regular tables of equipment grounding, we would know that you could go to 14. 12 would be oversized. 10 would be definitely overkill. A lot of people might guess 10. I bet you it's 12. If we look at the minimum size in the code, we go to 250.122, and we're going to see that it would be, let's see here. Oh, it is 12. So it probably is 10. Okay. So for some reason I thought it was 14, man. I feel like whenever I look at Romex, that thing is number 14. And Romex. I always thought that number 12 Romex had a number 14 ground. But what do I know? Let's go to pools. We're going to go to 680. We're going to go 680. And we are going to go to the beginning of the book where it probably talks about grounding and things like that. Here's the pool pumps here. We want to find motors. This is the wiring. Not smaller than 12. Let's read this. Corrosive environments. The wiring methods installed these locations shall contain insulated copper equipment grounding conductors not smaller than 12. Okay, this says MC cable. That's MC. We want to look for PVC. Let's keep looking. Let's keep looking. It might be 12. Let's keep equipment grounding. Bonding, grounding. I'm just kind of jumping around right now. We might have to actually look for this thing. Okay, we're in irrigation machines at this point now. Hang on. Swimming pools. Let's go to where I think it is, which is equipment grounding here. But this is in niches and junction boxes. We need to look for pumps. This is wet niche luminaires. There's low voltage. We're still on lights. That's pool pumps. Man, it might be 12. We're going to go with 12. Let's go with 12. I don't feel like that's right, though. Let's see here. Equipment installed in corrosive environment shall comply or shall be MC listed. Wiring methods installed in these locations shall it's going to be not smaller than 12. I think that PVC is trying to throw us off because PVC would be non-corrosive environment. Let's see here. Jason Balaha. Yeah, USA. What's going on? This is the NEC, National Electric Code 2020. Right there. We're going to go 12 to keep it moving. For some reason, guys, I feel like it's 10. But right there, it says not smaller than 12. And it also talks about corrosive environments. Wiring methods in corrosive environments would be PVC. So we're going to go 12. Because it's 20 amps, though, it makes me wonder. Because obviously 20 amps would be number 12 already. Man, I want to look one more place. Grounding terminals, grounding. Feeders. Number of grounding. Construction. Motors. Pumps. Fixed grounding. Okay, 12. Going with 12. Final answer, 12. Okay, cool. We got it. Awesome. Felt like that was too obvious. I wasn't sure. We're installing services 1,000 volts or less. SPD shall be connected to. Now, this is a problem, guys, because SPDs did not get introduced until 2023. And the article is like 445 or something. I don't think it's right after transformers, which is 450. There's phase converters. And then if we look in a 23 code book, right after phase converters, I think freaking surge is in there. But I don't think that surge protection is in the 2020 code book. I could be wrong. I don't think it's in here. There's storage batteries, resistors, reactors. Can anyone confirm so I can stop looking? Yeah, it's not here. Let's see here. What's up, James? No guns here. Ha! You're looking at tools and tactics. High UK just learning my 18th edition in the UK. Nice. I should read the UK book. I don't have the UK book. Let us read the question longer. Okay. We're installed for services 1,000 volts or less. Type 1 SPD shall be connected to. I'm going to say, we know it's not this, because it doesn't have to be the service equipment. Because it needs to be installed, what is the verbiage? Adjacent to? Surge protection device. The practice test is located test.com. I'm going to say it's going to be on the grounding electroconductor. That's not right, guys. That's definitely not it. The grounded service conductor would not be right either, because that would be the neutral. Oh, wait. It says for services, though. This is services. This is services. Okay, so it is going to be all the above. Because it's saying installed for services. So when you're on a service, you're grounded as a neutral. Your grounding electrode is going to be the UFER. And the equipment ground terminal is the same as the neutral, because it's service equipment. So your grounds, your neutrals, and your equipment grounds, and your grounding conductors all land at the same point. So once we read the question again, it says install for services. If services was not in there, it would probably be none of them. So it's got to be all of them. There you go. All right, size number 4. THW copper conductors are connected to the termination lugs having a temperature rating of 60 and a panel board. What is the ampacity of the conductors? We know that it's not panel board. We're not going to go to 408 panel boards. We're going to go to number 4 and THW copper. That's what we're going to be looking for. So we're going to go to 310 here. And we're going to look for THW copper conductors. So THW, we got TW, we got THW right there. And we're going to see here 60. A temperature rating of 60. Oh, trick question. Trick question, 60. Right there. The temperature rating is 60. It didn't say 60 degrees or whatever because they didn't want to make it too obvious. The temperature rating is 60. We've got to go use the 60 even though we have... This must be a master question. It is. It's a trick question because we got to use 60. So it's going to be 70 amps. Because we got to go off the temperature rating. That's what you base your terminations off of, is temperature. So it should be 70 amps. And if you look here, it says it must be selected from the 60 degree C column. There you go, exactly. That's how you do that. The dedicated equipment space above outdoor installed switchgear, panel boards, and motor control centers, 1,000 volts or less, extends from the final grade to a height of not less than 6 foot 6 inches above the equipment. This space is dedicated for electrical installation. It's 6.5 feet. You find that in 110.26. And we know that because it's like the requirements for installation instructions for electrical installations. And when we look at 110.26, we see the working spaces. And we look at the height of the working space, you're going to see that it's extended 6.5 feet, which would be 6 foot 6. So 6 foot 6 inches is the answer. I'm wrong. Okay, what happened? What did we do? Read it too quick. The dedicated space above outdoor, so it's outdoors. And motor control centers extends from the grade of the height. Oh, well, that's stupid. It's this is dedicated equipment space, which is somewhere else. Dedicated equipment space is here. And there's indoor and there's outdoor. And I actually don't know this off the top of my head for outdoor. I know what the indoor is, and it's 6 feet above their equipment or to the structural ceiling. But outdoors, what is it? 6 feet as well, right there. That's what happens when you rush a question. Oh, God. Drop the phone. 6 feet. Bam. Next. General NEC rule where ambient temperature, voltage drop, and the number of current conductors are not a factor. What size 75 copper ungrounded phase feeder conductors are required to supply 200 amp continuous load? Okay, so ambient temperature is not a factor. Voltage drop is not a factor, and the number of current conductors are not a factor. 200 amp continuous load. This could be a trick question, right? Because continuous load would be 1.25. And it does not tell us whether it is a house or commercial. Okay? What it does say is 75 copper. So we know that we're going to be off the 75 degrees C. We're going to have to do the calculation 1.25 and let's see what happens. If we go off of 75 degrees C on 200 amp copper, 200 amps here, I feel like it's trying to trick me. It's probably going to do it. 1.25 times 200 equals 250. if we go to 310 for 250 amps, it needs to be even more of a trick question, right? We're permitted to go to the next standard size because 4-aught. If we go to 240.6, we can go to the next standard size. It might be 4-aught. It should be 3-aught. Yeah, it should be 3-aught. But it says continuous load. As a general rule, it's not talking about a house, though, guys. It's talking about a continuous load. It's got to be 4-aught. I think it's 4-aught, and I'm going to show you why. If we go to 240.6 here, which is overcurrent protection, we can go to the next standard size. So if we're in between 225 and 250, we can go up to the next standard size. We are allowed to do that. Man, I think it's 4-aught, but I feel like it's also 3-aught. I'm just gonna go with 4-aught and see what happens. We're gonna go with it. It's 3-aught. It's not. It is 250. And it is 250 because we did the continuous load. Oh my God, I knew this. This is the same thing as a charger for a car. You do the continuous load, you got to be equal or more. So we can't go the next standard size because we did the factor of 1.25. Damn it. That's okay. That happens. Same thing for a Tesla charger, okay? 48 continuous load, multiply by 1.25, you get 60. You have to be number 4 for Romex. So it's 250, and it's going to tell you that. Exactly. We almost had it. We messed it up, though. Dang it. All right. Commercial occupancy to be supplied from a transformer. Let me fix the camera here. Occupancy supplied from transformer. Secondary will have a balanced computed connected demand per phase. Oh my goodness. We can take some of these numbers and start dividing these numbers to get these numbers. Oh man, I am going to go to the next question. I don't want to do this. I feel like we're running out of time. I've been doing this for too long. Let's take 200,000 divided by 480, and you're going to get 416. There it is there. It must be 200 kVA. There's going to be some other BS factor in here. I already know it because I just know it. But we're going to go with 200. Yeah, I knew it. I don't even care anymore. It's 150? I don't even know. 86 because it's balanced. Dude, that is so far above what the hell that I would need to do in my line of work. We can go back and look at it for a second. That way I can screenshot it and learn it later. Cool. Next. Oh. 1.732 by 480 for 208. I don't think I read that properly. Yeah, I think you're right. 1.732 gets 208, and then three-phase secondary. The secondary will have a balance computed because it's the secondary. So this is the primary is 480, and then the secondary is this. So we should have taken. We could have taken 200,000 by probably 120 because it's per phase. Let's try that. Uh, 208. Sorry. I did 120. All right. Have a good day. Next. Where the inverse sound circuit breaker serves as a distant convenience for a hermetic refrigeration compressor, the circuit breaker is required to have an ampere rating of at least blank of the nameplate current rating of the equipment, whichever is greater. We looked at this last time, man. Motors was 115. You install underground, run a trade size number 2-inch conduit. Schedule 40 PVC. And it contains service entrance conductors supplying a one-family dwelling. The PVC will not cross under public streets or roads or driveways or alleys. The conduits have a barrier depth of at least. Does it say residential? Does it say residential? One-family dwelling is residential. It's not going to cross roads or driveways or alleys, so it's not going to be 24 inches. It's going to be 18 inches. We're going to go to 300.5. Yeah, it should be 18. If it crossed roads or something, it would be 24 inches. But because it's not, it's going to be 18. And it's going to say area is not specified, actually, is what it's going to say. So if we go 300.5 here. We are going to see here all locations not specified below. And it's going to be non-metallic raceways listed for direct burial. It's going to be 18 right there. But what we're going to see, it's not underneath the building. That'd be 0. It's not underneath a slab or anything like that. It's not underneath the alley, streets, or driveways, which would be 24. It's 1 and 2 family dwellings, driveways, and outdoor parking areas. Regardless, is still 18. But they didn't really specify that. So it's still going to be 18 inches, I believe. Because it's not. So it's going to be 18. Cool. Next. 4 current carrying conductors, number 2. They're installed on a Raceway. Oh my God. Okay. We're going to multiply this by 80% because we have 4 current carrying conductors. So we're going to go to 310 right here. We got 4 current carrying conductors. We're going to be at 80%. And then we got to take this stupid calculation here, 100 degrees Fahrenheit, which is here. 100 degrees. Yep. And then the factor is going to be 100 is the ambient temperature. Ambient temperature 100. Is that right? 0.67. I do not know, guys. We're going to try it. 0.67. So we're going to go number 2. First, we got to do this. So we got to figure out what number 2 is. THWN. It's going to be 75 degrees C. No, it's not. We can use 90 degrees C. God, dude. 3-part calculation. We are allowed to take the 90 degrees C chart when we do these calculations. It's a rule in here somewhere. I will find it for you guys later, but it's in here. Worry about it later. We're going to take 90 degrees C, number 2, which starts off good for 130 amps. We're going to multiply it by 0.80. 0.80 times 130 equals 104. And then we got to multiply it by 0.67. And we get 69.68. That can't be right. The ambient temperature is 100. God. Okay, let's try it again. Hang on, I lost my calculator. 130 times 0.80. 104. That's the obvious answer because we're not done yet. We need to do the ambient temperature. Ambient temperature's here. Wait, Fahrenheit. Ha, figured it out. It's been so long since I did this. Okay. We need to do the Fahrenheit. It says F right there. F for F my life. Okay. 100 here. And we're going to slide over. I don't know, guys. I don't know. It says, oh, that's Celsius. Okay. It looks like 100. Actually, it's 1. So it's even. I think I got lucky. I don't have to do anything. We're good. Trick question. Unless it's up here. Why would we use this versus this? This is for ambient temperatures other than 104. This is, oh God, dude, I don't remember how to do this. It's been so long since I was in school. We can try. We can try to multiply this and see what we get. Wrong column for ambient temperature. Yeah, thank you, sir. Which one? Ambient temperature, Fahrenheit, 104. The rating of the conductor, we started off at 90 because we can. I'm going to try 0.91. Let's try 0.91 and let's see what we get. $94.64. Yeah, that's going to be it. We did it. Oh my God, dude. It's been so long since I had to do one of those. So there's 3 things we had to do there. We had to go to number 2. We had to use the 90 degree C column because of the rules in here. I'd like to find it for you guys. Oh. That one stressed me out. There's a rule in here at the beginning of this that talks about 3 current carrying here. And it talks about where we can start at 90 degrees C. Had to find it here. Corrected. Should be here somewhere. I'll find it for you guys later. And then you would go to here, number 2, 130. And then you would take your 80% because you're 4 to 6 current carrying. And then you would adjust it based on the temperature here at 90 degrees C again. And that's how you get that question there exactly. 0.80, 91, all that stuff. Yay, I'm glad I got that one right. Okay. When installing underground service conductors for a dwelling where the conductors are not encased in concrete and buried 18 inches or more below the earth, the conductors are mandated to have the location identified by a warning ribbon that's placed not more than blank above the underground installation. Oh man, I just went over this the other day. It's in 230. I had a guy do this the other day. It's in 230. It's in 230 in services, and it's like somewhere here. Services, right? Installing underground service conductors, yeah. So we got to find service entrance. Should be here somewhere on this page here. There's the grouping. There's ungrounded, not underground, ungrounded. Service conductors. That's overhead services. We want service laterals. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for the word laterals. Okay, underground service conductors, installations, minimum size protection. Okay. Uh-oh. 230.43. That's where I was looking to begin with. There it is there. 240.33, 43. Underground protected 300.5, but that's not it. Keep looking. Let's see here. Location, guarded, enclosed. Marking. We can try 300.5. It's either 6 or 8. That's what I'm thinking too. I just can't remember. Let's see here. Okay, let's try 300.5. Because that's burial depths. It might be in there. Raceway seals under buildings, conductors emerging from grade, protection, service conductors, trench, 12 inches. There it is there, 12 inches. Underground service conductors that are not encased in concrete shall have the location identified by a warning ribbon that's in a trench at least 12 inches above the underground installation. 12 inches. Nice. Next. Determine the required number of 120 volt, 15 amp general lighting branch circuits for a dwelling. I do not want to do this. God, dude, I do not want to do this. 3 VA per square feet. And then we got to have, is it not asking about the bathroom circuit and all they required? Oh, it doesn't say minimum. It just says required number. That might not be so bad. That might not be so bad. We can do 3 VA. I don't have to look at all the requirements. Drilling units right there. Nope. Hang on. Man, it's been a long time since I looked this crap up. It's the hell is a 3 VA? There it is there. Okay, general lighting, 3 VA per square feet as determined. And then All of the crap, dude. Screw that question. Okay. Good thing we don't have to do the whole question. We only got to divide this by 3. So 1950 by 3. That does not look right. Oh, wait, hang on. Uh, 15 amp general lighting. 1950. Wait, you multiply by 3, not divide, right? It's shoot, 33 volt amps, 3 VA. And you wouldn't divide it by 3. That'd be stupid. So for every, wow, it has been a long time since I did this. I don't know how to do this. Why? What is wrong with me? General lighting, 3 VA every square foot. So we got to divide this. Hang on. Do we need to do one more thing? Oh, we do. Okay. Hang on. There's more to it. 3 VA times a square foot. Yeah. There is more to it. Anyone that's done any of this test prep, like an actual class, would do that. I haven't done this calculation since 2011, 13, something like that. All right, what are we doing? We are doing 1950 by 3. That's not even what I clicked, I don't think. 1950 by 3. We divide them by 120. Please. Please. No, I don't know, guys. Do I have to add the laundry? It doesn't say minimum. It doesn't say minimum. It just says the required number for a dwelling unit. Oh, width. I do have to add the 400 and 4,500, right? Isn't it 4,500? It's 1,500. Oh my God, dude. I gotta look at all this again. Let's see here. General load. I'll tell you right now, guys, it has been way too long since I did one of these. 3 VA. Okay, each floor 1,500 VA for each 2. So that's 3,000, and then there should be another 1,500, which should be 4,500. And then each laundry circuit, yep. And it didn't mention the appliances fastened in place, thank goodness. Okay, let me try it again. I am all over the place, thank you. It's been too long since I did one of these. We're going to go with 3 times 1950 plus 4,500. Why? I don't know. I've got no idea. I've got no idea. I would say basically, right, you're going to need at least 2 small appliance branch circuits, and you're going to need a laundry. Four. I think it's 4, right? I think this part here is a trick question. If we went just based off of of 2 at 3 and 1 at 15. Yeah. The VA. Okay, so what are we doing here? Find the minimum line load. 3 VA times 1950. We did that. $120 times 15 amps. I don't know why we'd do that. Oh, I see. Okay, I see. 15 amps times 120 is 1800 VA. Then you divide it by the 5850. Not even a clue, guys. We got we didn't get all of them right. We missed 4 or 5 questions legitimately, I think. I mean, we still did okay. There was one where it asked for the 23 and we had the 2020. But let's go again. I don't have time. I gotta get back to my kids. But that was fun. I enjoy doing these. I was gonna buy one. You need 4.06 15 amp circuits. Run it back. I don't know if I can run it back. So that was a weird test too. It's supposed to just be a journeyman, so we could just fly through it in less than 30 minutes. Also, I'm explaining stuff too. Like most of those questions we already knew the answer to. Just showing you guys how to find them. But it kept switching between master and then journeyman, and then the 23 book and the 20 book. I think I'm gonna buy one for us, where it gives us access to a lot of things. Because I've got the master's one with 300 questions, but I wanted to do one that was a little bit easier so we could fly through it. We need the picture-in-picture so we can see you and the question. That's too hard to do. It is too hard to do. But there you go. It's been too long since I did load calculation. That's hilarious, man. Definitely need to brush up on my motors and load calculations. If it was a whole like test on that, we'd be in trouble for sure. But for the most part, it stays pretty basic. So that's all the time we got. Appreciate you guys hanging out, and we'll see you guys later. What do you do for work? I'm an electrical inspector. I do electrical inspections. I'm pretty much photographic with the code book too, so it really helps on where everything is. I'll tell you right now, it's been the last time I did a load calculation was when I was in school trying to get my journeymans, like 2012. How about I see you taking electrical? Talking electrical. Texas. Over here in Texas. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize a lot of those mistakes to avoid are actual inspections that I was doing. A lot of people think that I just took a video from somewhere and just started talking about it. But a lot of that stuff, like I actually see, like the crazy stuff, like where they're missing like the main bonding jumper and all that crazy stuff. That's like stuff that you actually, everything on there is like true. Like it's not like some crazy stuff that I just found on the internet and then just started talking about. The trades are getting bad, man. We need to help you guys out. So cool. Austin, Texas. Nice. We'll see you guys later. We're out of here.